Good morning. We'll be doing some karate in a little bit here. Just gonna give people a chance to join. I will be utilizing Bob soon. We're gonna get started. We'll do some Kobuken is gonna be the focus of today. And just give me 1 second. All right, so sometimes it's good to practice just running through all the different katas just to make sure that you're up to speed on all of them, make sure that you have them all squared away. But other times it's good to just really dig into one kata. So that's what this class is basically going to be. It's going to be like a seminar on Kobuken. So if I was teaching a big group of people and it was people who I don't normally teach, but they're all familiar with Kobuken kata, I would probably have them run through kata, and then we would spend some time on different versions or different levels of kata, and we might really get into the bunkai of the kata. So we'll start off to warm up. We're just going to go through the kata itself, just regular shokyu basic level kata at a pretty relaxed pace. Kyotsuke, right? Kobuken no kata. So bring our arms up like this. I bring my right arm on the inside. And I'm not in tight fists yet. My fists are kind of relaxed at this point. So I don't have my hands open like this, but I have kind of relaxed fists. And right when my chin is kind of sitting in the cross section of my hands, that's when I start going from here to the right arm comes on the outside now. It kind of comes here. I start stepping over right when my chin is there. And I finish straightening out this foot at the finish here. So from here, right arm on the inside, across. Once I'm past my face, I start stepping over. Now at the bottom, the right arm is on the outside. And once I'm down to like my belt, that's when I'm gonna start pivoting this heel out. And I'm tightening my fists once I finalize that stance. So from Kyotsuke, timing is up, wide, out here, 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 here. Now we'll start, we're gonna turn to the left. So I'm gonna step forward right while I look and start pushing, start my block. So block, circle, punch high, grab, sink, punch palm up. Then I turn to the right now. Right foot's gonna be the front. Punch the left hand, grab, pull, sink, punch, palm up. Turn, lock toward the front, left foot's in front, punch right. And I'm gonna kind of rise as I punch with my right hand, grab, drop, sink when I punch left. Then I block towards my right, kick with my right foot, Sokoto Geri off the rear foot. Put that down in front in Sanchin stance. Block toward the left, grab, Sokoto Geri. Put that down and back. I'm in Sanchin stance again. I advance into Suigoshi. As I advance, my right hand's gonna make a fist. I'm gonna come across my face and chest area. Make a fist, and I'm gonna hold down with the fist. That fist is creating a weight to sink into my sui gauche while I grab with this hand. That pulls them down. So not only am I blocking, but I'm pulling them off balance. Then I block Jodan, and I start shifting my stance to a front stance into basically what's going to be a Zenku Sudachi. But this is very transitional. I'm not going to hang out here. So it's going to be here, boom, immediately I'm stepping through, pushing and pulling, really striking and pulling, hitting with the shote, with the front hand. It should be Zenku Sudachi, like that. Turn. Now I'm facing towards the back. My right foot's in front. I do a kamai here. I pose, yoi kamai. Palms out. I slide. Block, grab. Nuki, palm down. Back. Step, block, grab. Nuki. Back. Step, block, grab. Nuki. Back. And I grab here. I do a sokoto geri off the rear foot. And I turn back towards the front. As I turn, I block. Nuki, sokoto, block, front kick right foot. Step left, block toward the left, front kick left foot. Block towards the front foot, which is the left foot. Right foot step into Zenku Sudachi. Tate Hijiuchi. Geidan Shoji. I'm shifting, maybe not all the way into sui gauche, but I kind of think of it like sui gauche, all right? And then I'm going to drive off the back leg, but I'm just going to drive into that Zenku Sudachi. So I shift my weight from about 50-50 to about maybe 80-20. Back up. Arigatou gozaimasu. All right. Next, we're gonna run through that Chukyu. So let's see if we have any pressing questions on that one. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Metric Sphinx. Appreciate it. All right. Let's get into Zenku Sudachi. That's an important stance. This is kind of the first time it appears in this system. So there's no... Oh, cool. Yeah, good vibes to you too over in New Zealand. That's cool. It's probably a reasonable time of day there. It's too early here. All right. So we're going to do stepping into like a Zenku Sudachi. And in our system, it's a development from Uechi-ryu karate. So we have Sanchin, Kanshiwa, and then Dainise-san is what we call it. I know it's Kanshu in other systems, or in the Uechi-ryu they call Kanshu. And then Kobuken, which is the kata created by Kinjo Kaicho. Oh, it's not a reasonable time. Well, we're early over here and it's late over there. But hey, thanks for checking it out at midnight. So Kinjo Kaicho created this kata, and this is the first time we see Zenku Sudachi in a kata. So Zenku Sudachi is that front. It's literally called front bent stance. Zen is your front, like Zen Sokogeri is your front foot kick. Zen Kutsudachi is front bent stance. So your front knee is bent, which kind of implies that the back knee really isn't. It doesn't have to be locked if you're really trying to show it for, like, let's say a tournament. Maybe you do want to lock that so that you can really get into that stance. But in reality, Kinjo Kaicho Zenku Sudachi sometimes is a little bit more relaxed, where he'll let that back knee almost even bend a little bit, but it's because he's sliding in. So So I'm going to use Bob for this one already. So the idea is I'm going to hit with my elbow, which, oh no, I can't reach with my elbow here. So I have to step in long to hit him with my elbow. And that's what that Zankusudachi is for, is it comes in long. Also, once I hit him with my elbow, boom, I can drive in and kind of knock him backwards with the force of my body coming forward. But Kinjo Kaichu does not always just step in and lock in that stance. He slides the back foot up too. So it's a Yodiashi, and that's why his back leg sometimes is a little more relaxed. I think it depends on if you're trying to just do it for practical purposes, or if you're just trying to make it show nicely. All right, we will revisit Bob a little bit later here. He will make more appearances. Let's run through this. Well, we said we were going to work on Zenkusudachi. So we're going to practice by doing lunges, all right? So let's do some lunges. And actually, let's do short lunges. So instead of stepping really long, let's step until we feel like we're going to be a distance where our knee can come down to the ground at the same line as that heel of the front leg. And then when you stand up, you're in Zenkusudachi. Feet together, step into Zenkusudachi, knee down, come up into your Zenkusudachi, and step back. So we'll do a 3 count. So we'll go Ichi, step into the stance, knee, san, chi. Oh, that's 4. All right. Ichi, step into the stance, ni, san, shi. Ichi, ni, san, shi. Ichi, ni, san, shi. Ichi. I'll retell that's going to be too long. Ni, san, shi. Ichi, ni, san, chi. Ichi, ni, san, shi. Ichi, ni, san, chi. So the goal of this class is not to smoke your legs, so we're going to keep moving. But that's a way you can practice, get a leg workout, and make your Zenkusudachi stance correct. All right, we'll go Chukyu, Kobuken Chukyu. All right, Chukyu, we're going to emphasize the grab on every technique, and we're going to let our power go a little bit with the legs. You'll see what I mean. Onegaishimasu. Kobuken no kata. Chukyu. Over. From here, it turns to the left, lock, slide in as you kind of rise up with your punch. Grab, slide in again as you sink and rotate. Turn, block, slide in, rise up, grab, pull, slide, drop. Punch, palm up, and rotate. Turn, block, punch, grab, drop, and punch. Kosuke to the rear foot. Now here, you're going to scoot your foot in, and you're going to pivot. You're going to block here, push the hip in, Sokoto Geri. Kosuke, back foot, Sokoto Geri. And you're coming back in Sanshin stance. And you're going to step in, Osai, Suigoshi. Joranuke Shote. Then we're going to turn to the back. So turn, Yoi Kamai, here. Always Yoi Kamai, even in Chukyu. Jokyu is different. But Shokyu and Chukyu, you do your Yoi Kamai. Slide in, grab, Slide in Yuki, slide back. Yoriashi, Yoriashi, Hikiashi. Yoriashi, Yoriashi, Hikiashi. Sokuto, Kosuke. Kick, front kick, you're gonna scoot in. Block, scoot in with your front kick. Block, tate hiji. We can slide in with that tate hiji. Yoriashi in, still zen kusudachi. And geiran shochi. Now when we drive off that back foot, we're gonna slide in. And pull back. Yame. Arigatou gozaimasu. Okay. That is hola. ¿Qué pasa, Riso Ra? Sometimes people just say hi. I think it might be I don't know if it's my settings that, no, because other people's comments aren't in Spanish. I'm using a phone with all the settings in Spanish. So, ahora estoy en vivo. All right. Questions on that so far? I guess there's no questions or comments. We can rep out some push-ups because we already did a little bit of legs. So this is the opportunity to do a few immaculate push-ups. So vamos a hacer ejercicios para los brazos. All right, so we're gonna go push-ups. Let's just do 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Any questions? How are those push-ups? No hay preguntas. All right. This time, let's run through the kata, kind of like what you would do, what I would envision maybe a more advanced student doing it for like a tournament. So this is just kind of a version that I put together, and I've seen, this isn't anything where I'm like, oh, this kata isn't good the way it is, so I'm gonna make up my own thing. Like, no, like Kinjo Kaicho, he will do little things in his kata that he tweaks and does a little bit differently if he knows that it's gonna be like better for a tournament. It doesn't mean that he's making the actual katas in the syllabus that you would do for like your test. It doesn't mean he's changing those because he wants our whole style to be like focused on tournaments, but he'll take a kata that we do a certain way all the time in the dojo, and he'll do a couple little things different if he knows it's going to show a little bit better in the tournament. Then he'll go back in the dojo and do it the way that, we do it in our system. So that's going to be kind of what I do here in Kobuken. It's a great kata. It's very practical in for the tournament. There's a couple things that I would kind of do just a little bit. There's going to be a little bit of tweaks to it. All right, so we'll run through that here. All right. So we'll start. Did I start turning us or no? I'm just going crazy. All right, let's go Kobuken. Kyotsuke. Right? Kobuken no kata. All right, so from here, we're going to do the chukyu. So we're going to turn block. Slide in, slide in. Block, slide in, slide in. Turn block, slide in, slide in. Now I would say block, grab, and really, I'd kick higher, maybe neck or head level if you can, but you got to pivot that foot. So don't just show off your flexibility here, but also put power. Block, grab, pivot the foot, push the hip in. Sorry, kick, and then that should come back into Sanchin stance. Then move in. You really got to show this stance and show that solid. You can pause there for a moment. I would pause there for a moment too. Show off the stance. These are different stances. So usually we're in Sanchin Dachi. So when we make our Suigosh, really show it. When you make your Zenkutsu Dachi, really show that. Turn, Yoikama. Slide in, Nuki, back. Slide in, Nuki, back. Slide in, Nuki, grab this one. Just go straight out as usual, but really show the power driving in. Boom, lock, kick mid-level. Here's where the real change is gonna be. So kick mid-level, then kick to the face, boom, lock, tatehiji, gate on, boom, drive in with your punch. Okay, so the main technical change we did there is from here, pulling, lock. This is the same, but then instead of stepping and blocking and kicking again, you do this kick immediately, kick the face, lock as you step down. So lock, Chudan, Jodan, Kosuke. Lock, Chudan, Jodan, Kosuke. Lock, Chudan, Jodan, Kosuke, Tatehiji, Geidan, Yakuzuki. Kosuke, Nukite, Sokutogeri, Kosuke, Chudan Geri, Jodan Geri, Kosuke, Tatehiji, Geidan, Yakute Seikenzuki. Kosuke, Kosuke, Nukite, Hiki, Sokuto. So don't Hiki first, but Nuki, Sokuto, Kosuke, Chudan, Jodan, Kosuke, Tate, Geidan. And drive forward, boom. And here again, show off that stance. So make it correct. Like just nail those stances. It's like in gymnastics in the Olympics, when they do a flip off the balance bar, the balance beam, and they stick the landing. That's what that is. When you nail your Zenkusu Dachi, that's what you're doing. When you do a sharp, powerful kick, and you come back and you nail your stance, it's just like sticking the landing when you do a flip off of the parallel bars. You know, you do your whole gymnastics routine, then you jump off, and instead of boom, you want that boom. All right, you've got to nail that landing. Your stances in karate should be like that. And really, if you think about it, the judging in karate is kind of like that too. So if you're doing a kata for a tournament, it's a lot like being judged in gymnastics or figure skating or dancing. You're not beating somebody else in a direct head-to-head competition. You're outscoring. You're trying to get the perfect kata and put together a better product in the judge's eyes. So you've got to nail those stances and try to minimize mistakes. Questions on that? We'll probably do it again. The whole kata again. So let's go ahead and run through that one more time. Try to get through the whole kata. work on Jodan level for the Sokoto Geri, work on driving it in and getting the flexibility, and then getting that sequence down on the way forward. Yosuke. Ready? Kobuken no kata. Turn, lock, slide, punch, pull, slide in, drop, and punch. Turn, block, slide, punch, grab, pull, drop, slide in, punch. Block. There's so much going on here. So you're sliding in, pulling, and punching, and you're rising up a little bit with it. And then you're dropping, sliding forward, pulling and punching. Like that. And the block here, remember you're in Sanchin Dachi here. Push in with the hip, pivot with the foot, scoot with the foot, and you can step down in front. Block, grab, you're gonna push in the hip, pivot, slide in with the foot, Sokoto, and back to Sanchin Dachi. Into Suigoshi. Pause for a moment. And you can make this doesn't have to be super fast, it can be and pause again right here for a moment to show the stance, show the control. Turn, yoikama. Slide in, slide back, slide in, slide back, slide in, grab, slide in. You're gonna pull, Sokoto, block, Chudan, Jodan, block as you step down, Tate Hiji, Gedan, slide in. I shouldn't say slide in here, this is drive in. Power pushes off the back foot. And the front foot catches it, nail the stance. Arigatou gozaimasu. All right. Let's do a few more push-ups, huh? Let's do 10 more push-ups. Hajime, ichi, ni, san, hi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, ku, ju. Okay. All right, say your question. All right, waiting for a question. So, push-ups are an exercise I've missed. Recovering from elbow surgery, and I'm cleared to do everything now. So I can do more exercise without having to worry as much. It still gets a little bit sore afterward, but I don't really have a medical cause for concern if I do push-ups now. So I'm happy about that. It's one of the best exercises you can do because you're working your front of your shoulders, depending on what type of push-ups you're doing. As I'm easing back into push-ups, I'm doing them more like this because of my shoulder or my elbow surgery. This in tight tricep dominant push-up is still not feeling fantastic. So I'm doing them out wide grip, and that's working more chest, front delt, and also your core muscles having to stabilize, and the hip flexors having to hold yourself up. So it's kind of a whole body workout. Yes, it focuses more on the pushing muscles, but it's a full body workout, and it kind of simulates when you punch, everything that's holding your body straight during a push-up is what is holding the structure behind your punch. Sequence to the back, speeding all the way through or up until the last movements. All right, so that's seems like a question about the tempo. So are we speeding all the way through? I don't think you can speed through when you're sliding backwards and forwards. So with that, I think each individual movement going to the back should be fast, but they shouldn't be done in super fast succession because otherwise you're going to cheat your stance. What I mean is, okay, so let's say this is to the back. This is the sequence to the back. So I just went from here to here. I'm trying to hurry. You see how my stance seems really hurried? So I go here. Okay, so that's not as hurried. There's not really a pause in between, but I'm not rushing the transition. I think that last sequence should be really fast. So the tempo would be from here, turn, comma. Oh, I keep wanting to hiki on that last one. Boom, comma, slide in, back, slide in. Now I'm switching versions. All right, I'm gonna get this right. What do we do? No, scratch out the notes. I'm struggling. All right, so this is show shikomi, turn, comma, slide in, nuki, back, in, nuki, back, in, nuki, pull kick, block, kick, block, boom. I think that's a good tempo. So toward the back, each individual move is pretty sharp and quick, but there's a little bit of lag in between them. And then going to the front, that should be like bam, 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 bam. Let the judges just kind of be like, whoa, that was a really fast, impressive sequence. Does that answer that question? All right. You just have to predominantly practice the way you're going to do it. Like if you're getting ready for a tournament, you might need to. They're going to be super impressed. Calm down. All right. If you're doing a tournament, then you want to do the kata the way that you're doing it in the tournament, predominantly. So if we do it in class and you do one time you do the kata shokyu, no big deal. But stop practicing that kata shokyu and chukyu while you're preparing, when you're training on your own. And make every time you do that kata, do it the way that you want to do it for the tournament. Otherwise, you're going to do what I just did and confuse yourself. It's best not to have any confusion. You want to kind of forget there's any other version. Do this variation 5 times a day and not do any other variation unless it's during the class and we run through it like once. But yeah, just focus on this is the only way to do Kobuken until you have completed that tournament. I want to. The other thing to think about is don't put the judges on a pedestal. Um, there is really not a uniform standard requirement for judging at some of these open small tournaments or regional tournaments, local tournaments. Usually it's like whoever they can find to volunteer. Generally for black belts, it's going to be black belts who are judging. There's a lot of different range of black belts. You might have some judges who are really knowledgeable and some judges who are not knowledgeable at all. And some judges are knowledgeable but biased. You know, they like fancy techniques, and they like, some judges might want to see a lot of speed. Some judges might be really impressed with flexibility. Some judges just want to see power. And so you don't really know what the judges are looking for exactly. You just have to have kind of your own objective criteria that maybe you would use to judge, and then do your kata the way that you would think would be really good. So if you can show things like variation in the tempo, and some explosive power, and some smoothness, and some flow, and some extreme speed, and some perfect detailed technique, and spirit and intensity, and courtesy, you know, how you bow, how you stand, projecting confidence, doing, you know, showing a balance between strong punches and strong kicks. So there's so many things that you can kind of think about, but keep some of those things in mind and try to be having your kata show as much of the broad spectrum of what you can do as possible. All right, we only have a few minutes left here, so I want to get into a little bit of stuff with Bob. We're going to mess with some bunkai. All right, so all right, now going into another tournament topic, we're going to talk about maybe how there could be a sparring concept that you could use here. All right. So, when Kinjo Kaito does bunkai, like the most basic way to do bunkai on this is you block and grab. Oh, hey, from Uganda. Erase. All right, so Uganda's in the chat. All right, so we got Bob here, and a lot of times the most obvious self-explanatory bunkai of this first movement is you block, grab a hold, and because I'm going to the outside here, I can pull back hikite as much as it's useful to me to drive into that punch. And on this one, I like to think of, since this is a high punch, I like to think about hitting here. Now, if he turns his head and looks straight towards me, I might punch him in the eye. But if I'm a little bit offline from him, I might even hook my punch to make it a little bit of a Mawashizuki, just so I can hit him on the side of the chin. All right, so I'm blocking here, boom, and then from there, I'm gonna let go with this hand so I can punch him. Now, if he's still lined up sideways to me, like if he's turning away with that punch, boom, I can go right to the ribs. If he's turning into me, boom, I could punch a low punch right to the groin. All right, so I'm blocking here, punch here. Let's say he starts turning towards me, and now we're squared up all of a sudden. I can punch, boom, right to the groin. that'll cause some pain. All right, if I'm blocking to the inside, it might look like this. So I'm gonna block here. So instead of pulling all the way back, because I don't want him punching me here, I'm gonna block, and this hand might kind of come to the center, or it might even deflect this punch if he punches. But let's say he doesn't punch. Let's say I block here, and I come back kind of toward the center, and then the next punch comes, and I can box that punch out and do kind of my Jodan Tsukiyuke with it while I pull here. And then I can let go, cover this arm, maybe hook it, grab it if I can, and punch through the ribs. So that's going to be block and come to here. Let's say this isn't here. He's pulled back his punch. He's getting ready to punch me. So I block here. When he throws that second punch, I'm going to box it out, punch him in the eye. Then I'm going to hook this arm, boom, drop and punch to the ribs. If the punch is already coming, I block here, punch his eye, punch his ribs. Now, let's say I'm going to the outside. This one's a little bit more advanced. Kinjo Kaito, a lot of times he's going to turn and he's going to go here, boom, and he does like a high shoe with an open hand. But he says that if you do shuto, that's probably more effective for a real fight. Okay, so someone's coming at you with a punch here, you're going to step out of the way, and you're going to block. Sorry, that was like a 9 on the Richter scale, I'm sure. Yeah, run. Oh my gosh. We are struggling with the camera. Okay. So, I'm not gonna stomp my feet. All right. So, I'm just stepping offline, stepping out of the way, blocking here. But I'm gonna kind of drop down so I can hit Haishu or Suihei Shuto. In a tournament, I have a glove on, so I could just do like a back fist here. Oh. Now, I'm not gonna be turned away from him in the tournament in sparring, but I could be, not. Yeah, that was a extinction level event. All right. So I could be a little bit sideways, either because I'm squared up that way, or because maybe I just threw a kick, boom, and I ended up here, and now he's coming with his punch, boom, and I just go like that. And I can land my back fist. I could also do it, I could like fake high, boom, and come in low, throw that back fist to the side. In fighting, I don't like trying to throw a back fist to somebody's side. I don't think that's a good fighting technique. But you definitely could do a Suihei Shuto. If someone's coming at you from here and you're turning, you could hit them here and then immediately follow up, because now he's going to come over the top with a punch. So as soon as I do this, I'm already addressing his arms. Boom, boom, coming up with that technique and that technique. All right, so I'm turning, hitting, boom, boom. Or I'm here sparring, boom, I hit here, and then immediately, because maybe the judges don't see that one, boom, I want them to see it. If they don't see it, boom, I don't want him to hit me, boom, boom. So I'm gonna, boom, I'm immediately gonna be ready to block, boom, boom, and throw my punch. So we're sparring, I'm here, boom, here, alright. So, boom, throwing that back fist to the side, high shoe to the side, Suihei Shuto. It's all the same technique. You just hit him in the ribs with that. All right. That is all we have time for. So have a fantastic rest of your day. Keep practicing hard. If you're just watching this randomly, we tend to do this early, like once a week here. So if you subscribe to the channel, you should see a lot of these. Yeah. So keep practicing. Have a nice day. Polish the technique. Think about how you can use all of these. Think about how you can use them in different situations. Think about self-defense. Think about a fight. You know, somebody squares up with you. You feel like you can't avoid the fight. Think about, you know, if weapons are involved. Think about sparring. Think about sparring with like full contact and not a lot of rules. Think about sparring with gloves, without gloves. Think about point sparring. Just think about, you know, a lot of different ways to use the different techniques. But I find this kata to have some helpful stuff for sparring, like that movement. I think that I see people in point sparring score by throwing that back fist to the body, and I never would have thought of that. And Kinjo Kaito does that, but he does the haishu, and usually he's symbolizing, like he'd be hitting with the suihei shuto to the ribs, kind of take a little air out of them and make them sink down before he throws that next attack. And sometimes he'll follow up to the same spot, like in Kanshiwa, he'll hit the ribs and immediately boom, punch the same spot. So it's boom, boom. Or if he's on the inside, he'll come here, hit the ribs, boom, and then punch, boom, boom, or hit it with a palm strike. So he's boom, 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 boom. He's hitting to the same spot twice in a row. Like if you were to, you know, drop something in the water, the first thing like breaks the surface tension, which disrupts the water, and then the next thing that falls in doesn't have as much surface tension. So it's kind of the same thing. You hit here, they're tight, they're strong, they take it, and the next one maybe hurts them more. All right, well, that is the end. Domo arigatou gozaimashita.